Looking for inspiration, points to ponder, and journaling prompts for the week ahead? This week, for our weekly reading, we are using the Bad Bitches Tarot by Ethany. Keep watching. Hi, it's Leia. Welcome to this episode of Diaries of a Witchy Creative Life. As I said in the intro, this week we are using the Bad Bitches Tarot by Ethany. It is such a fun, cool deck. Super fashionable. Many of the outfits that the figures in this deck are wearing, I find absolutely adorable. I want to have them for myself. Anyway, if you are a regular on this channel, you know that the readings here are not predictive. Instead, they give you something to think about. They help you do inner growth work. Some readings here have a more specific topic. For the weekly readings, what we do is we see what comes up. So get ready to ponder these. The cards have been pre-shuffled and picked at random before the video, so let's get started. For card number 1, we have the Page of Swords. Here's my first question for you. How can you be more curious? Are there any areas of your life that would benefit from you being more curious at this moment? For example, are you about to make a major purchase or investment, or are you about to jump into something where knowing more about what you're getting into will make a huge difference? So by purchase or investment, this is what I mean, and this might not even be true for you, but I'm just giving you an idea. Some people might be looking into buying a new house or a car, or for others it's a gadget that you really need to perform a certain way for your work or for your projects. In which case, it would be very helpful to ask more questions and to do more research rather than jumping on the bandwagon because a lot of people have that new thing. If you tend to get shiny thing syndrome where something is very appealing because it's popular, it might be especially beneficial that you learn more about what you're buying before you make the commitment. Now for some, what this could mean is, if it isn't about a purchase, it could be related to quite possibly something new that you're getting into, be it a friendship, a partnership, a relationship, a new job. Think for a moment how that could apply to you. Sometimes it is better to ask questions in the beginning and have an honest conversation rather than finding ourselves in a sticky situation later on, which we might find is more difficult to extract ourselves from. Or even if we eventually do, there have already been effects from the decision that we made beforehand, and now it takes work to heal from those effects or straighten them out. In any case, if being curious is something that you want to do and you know that it's for your own good, or it's even for the good of everybody involved, it will be better in the long run if you just allow yourself to go ahead and bring up certain points that you want to discuss. If it's done in a respectful way, that's what I say matters. Some people stop themselves from being curious because, for some of us, we are taught when we're little not to ask so many questions, to leave things as they are, to not rock the boat. And maybe some of you out there have also experienced that you're simply asking a question, and yet it's taken as an attack when it wasn't personal at all, and so you may have learned to just keep quiet, to not voice your concerns. Well, maybe it's time to reprogram yourself when it comes to that sort of thinking. Moving on to card number 2, we have number 2 in the Major Arcana, the High Priestess. It's a little shadowy. I changed my lighting, but you'll see the card more clearly once I have it down here and my hand is no longer in the way. There you go. So let's talk about matters of intuition and knowing. Do you trust your sense of knowing, or feeling? If you do, or you do for the most part, this could be a great time to look more into either developing it or allowing it to be a bigger part of your life. And yes, I would say watching this video counts for sure, because it shows that you're learning to listen to your inner self more. And if you don't do that as of yet, meaning you second guess any knowings you get, or intuitive stuff just hasn't been a very present part of your life, could it be time to better get to know your intuitive self? So, whichever one fits you, whether it comes naturally to you already to pay attention to your intuition, or this is also new to you, there are a lot of options on how you can bring it more into your experience. You can start small, with videos like this, read more books on intuition and general spirituality, listen to podcasts, begin or develop a spiritual practice, get into journaling or pick it up again if you stopped, pay more attention to your dreams and journal about them when you wake up, and invite synchronicity into your life. Synchronicity, if you've not heard of it before, is meaningful coincidences. So keep a lookout for what appear to be magical occurrences in your life, and take note of them. For others, if this is a sort of next level thing for you, like, intuition has already been ever present and you really want to amp it up in your life, it could mean taking a course where you devote a lot of time and energy and develop this part of yourself. Maybe you want to get into work where intuition is part of your profession, or you feel like even if it isn't very obvious, honing your intuition much more would serve you very well in what you're doing. If you're a massage therapist, for instance, or any other kind of healer, getting a better feel of the people that you're working with and their energy will make a huge difference in the quality of your work. In general, daily life, being a more intuitive person has a lot of advantages as well. In a nutshell, you're more in tune with yourself, which will help you be more intentional in your way of living and creating the sort of experience that you want for yourself. For card number 3, we have the 10 of Wands. If you've been watching my videos, this is particularly interesting because the 10 of Wands has come up in 3 readings now. It hasn't been a long time since I've been back on YouTube and doing this very actively, meaning it's been pretty recent since those other readings where the 10 of Wands popped up. In fact, last week, the 10 of Wands was part of the weekly reading, and we used a different deck. We always pick only 3 cards, and imagine, in a tarot deck, there are 78 cards. And that's why I find it interesting. Jumping into the meaning or the message of the card, take a look at the load you carry. For some, it could be that you're currently overburdened, while for others, it could be more along the lines of something you're carrying could or should be set down now. It's possible that it's not doing you any good, or your reasons for carrying that load aren't particularly coming from the best place. For instance, and this is just one example to better illustrate it, but it might not apply to everyone listening to this. Somebody who's codependent does what they do not necessarily because they really want to, but they're so used to carrying other people's loads or trying to make life better for other people. And there are different degrees of codependency. Someone doesn't have to be an extreme people pleaser to do stuff like that. Like carry other people's load or burdens. It could also be more of a situational thing. If you're struggling or overwhelmed at the moment, you could pause and examine what your reasons are for taking on that load. That way, you're coming from a more informed and aware place of why you're carrying all that to begin with. Even if you decide, yes, this is absolutely something I want to do, it's worth it, at least now you know, and you don't end up resentful. Since this card keeps coming up in the readings that I've been doing, it could also be that some of you who watch these videos regularly are being reminded to take better care of yourselves. What we carry doesn't just apply to responsibilities or tasks. This could be emotional or mental as well. So if you're feeling overloaded, look into how you can better take care of yourself right now. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. As always, I loved putting it together for you, and I am looking forward to doing so many more. Stay tuned, there's a lot more to come on this channel to help you do your inner awareness work, your shadow work. I'll be back before you know it. Bye for now. Many more diaries of a witchy creative life coming your way.